Welcome to your movement play session. I'm Kuchira and we're working with change today. Change is something that's very exciting for me, but I know for a lot of people it can be a scary place. Change is also something that's real, it's constant, it ain't going nowhere, so it's best to learn how to embrace it. The best way I know to get comfortable with change is to practice it. And the best way to practice change is in the body. The body is always changing. It's always feeding you new information. When we become aware of this change in the physical body, we can learn to get comfortable with it. And then when it happens in our external world, we've already known it internally, and we can learn to embrace it rather than to shush it away. In embracing change, it can create a space where new things can happen. A creative space where you can acquire new ideas with grand personalities. Come into newness, new ways, new habits, new solutions, new ideas, new thoughts. A new being, in a sense. It keeps life spicy and flavorful. Gives you something to look forward to. Keeps us expanding and growing, evolving. Interfering with change, forcing it to happen, can really disrupt its natural flow. The universe doesn't necessarily give us what we want, it gives us what we need. And when we interfere with change, we don't allow that to come into our lives. So vital and important to our growth and expansion. Change has its own rhythm, its own time, its own melody, its own song. This class invites you to move within change, to be the listener, to move to the music of change. To respect its rhythm, to flow with the art of change. When we flow with the art of change, nothing needs to be forced. In fact, you dive into a space that is completely effortless. And it feels like, because you are, exactly where you need to be. When we stay aware during the practice of change, we come into a very acute place of clarity. It's almost like you know what's going to happen before it even happens, because you're so incredibly present and open to allowing change to move you versus you moving it. This is what I'm talking about when I say not forcing. So in today's movement play practice, we're going to move with change, dance with change. Shall we dance? Let's go. Welcome to your movement play session. If you've never played with me before, the rules, in quotes, because they're breakable and I want you to break them, are fairly simple. First of all, you move like you. This is a free-flowing session, which means there's no right, there's no wrong, there's only your right. There's only the way that you're going to move today within your body, within your breath, within your sound, within your being, within your essence, in awareness, to move mindfully through this practice, which means it's even better if you don't look at me, and a portion of this class will be done with a black screen and just my voice to give yourself permission to just be and move within your space, and I mean that beyond the literal. With that said, the most important thing is that you listen to the self. So it's best to just listen to my words, even if you don't understand the words or the notes that I'm giving, just the tone, the energy, the feeling that it exudes in your body, and let that move you. That's going to be most essential in today's practice because we are moving with change, which is subtle and different in every body, and so it's going to really ask you to listen. Not to listen to me, not to listen to the cues, but to listen to the inner self. But before we get to this process, this movement of change, we're going to step into our bodies, these magical bodies. Although we have bodies, we don't necessarily live in them in an aware state all day long. And so before we move into the practice of change, which is really going to ask us to be present and aware, let's step into these bodies. Let's wake them up, shall we? So for now, let's just move together and then we'll slowly shift into our movement play session. Please walk around your space. As you walk around, try to break the habit of patterns. We want to keep it unpredictable. Open to stepping into any space that this practice takes us to, and really not holding back. Wherever it wants to go, we're going to follow. So we are not in control. Change is in control. And we're going to be friendly today. So as I walk, I feel the sensations of the earth holding me. I feel the space in the air around me embracing me. I feel the energy and the existence of my breath, bringing me into the here and now. Alive, present, aware as much as I possibly can. And then I feel all the sensations that come with that. The little chill in the air, at least for me. My body feeling a little cold but anxious to move. The clothing on my skin, the hair on my eyes, my skin itself. So all of these sensations that are happening. Let's just take a little time to continue this dance. Not forcing, just allowing and being in what is. If you're not sure if you're doing it right, once again, I'll just reconfirm that there is no right. There's only present. There's only present. I am here, and that makes it right. I have shown up for myself. Good. I want you to start playing with the pressure that you place the soles of your feet on the floor. Starting to notice when you're stepping on your heels or on your toes or on the balls of the feet, how they're rolling against the surface, how the rest of your body is moving to the dance of the soles of your feet. And we'll just play with this for a bit. Getting your knees into it. Changing up the patterns, and again, breathing. Hopefully, as you continue to walk and dance through your space, you can continue to loosen the body. Remember, that's what we're doing here first, entering the body. So the more you can allow your arms to swing or your head to relax, the better. Maybe more bending into the knees, maybe more playful action, maybe rising up on the toes. Tons of ideas here. And as you notice, change is already starting to happen. That original first very sturdy, very stiff walk has now chilled out. It's having a little bit more fun. So let's keep going. 10, 9, 7, 6. So I'll tell you, the hardest thing about this change is to step out of the conditioned mind, you know? When I say the word walk, your mind just likes to go to walk and then respect that cue and stay there. But remember, these cues are just a beginning space to see what kind of changes will occur, because change is always happening. So if we get out of the conditioned mind, change can happen without us. And that's a beautiful thing. The effortless flow, I call it. Good. Slowly coming into your neutral position, which for me today seems to be feet hip distance apart, knees slightly bent. For you, it might be very different. And I'm just going to start to find a little bounce, a little release of breath, a little jiggling, loosening of the body. Ooh, let's do that for a couple counts. Let it show up in your body however it shows up. Ooh. Today it's coming like a little shimmy or a wiggle, but sometimes for me it comes with a little jump or a big jump. So open up the throat. Ooh. Letting the throat chakra bounce as well, and the heart bounce. Even thinking of your pubis bouncing, the belly bouncing, jiggling all the fat. Yeah. Good, deep inhale. Expansion, expansion, expansion. Keep breathing it in, puff it up. And then exhale it however it wants to come out. Good, starting to move the fingers around, entering the body. Again, just because we're moving the fingers doesn't mean that the rest of the body has to be still. Get out of that conditioned mind. And even if my fingers happen to be the ones on my hands, maybe your fingers happen to be somewhere else. So these labels, we can remove them completely. Good, starting to grab imaginary things in the air. Feeling the hands come alive. And then any little extra things that have to happen. So initially now it took me to wanting to feel the sensations of the floor, but maybe for you it's wanting to feel the sensations of the palms of your hands. Coming alive by slapping the hands together. So it starts from one thing, but we let it continue on however it wants, right? We want to get into this mindset, this loose mind. This is going to help us during this practice, this movement play. Good. Trying to get the elbows in. Maybe trying to grab things in the air with the elbows or on the floor. And then letting them be loosey-goosey. Elbows, 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 joints. Seeing how they move. So I'm just throwing out a bunch of ideas, but keep going into the direction that you feel is right for you today. Good. Getting the shoulders. Ooh. Maybe trying to grab things again in the air with the shoulders. Ooh. Goes back. Goes front. And then getting the chest into it, which happens naturally as a result of being available. Yes, and the chest brings in more space, more air. Good. Open that chest. And then because the chest is open, let's open the upper back. Ooh. Ooh. Expanding through the upper back. Noticing how that grounds you. How it changes the sound. Ooh. Good. And then massaging the belly. Massaging the organ. And again, this can take place any way it wants. Maybe you're on the floor now. Maybe you're against the wall. So I'll remind you, listen to the words, listen to the tone, listen to energy, and not so much watching my movement, because I want your movement to be yours. Massaging that inner body. Stepping into that inner body. Massaging the pubis. Very deep inside. You'll notice that even comes into the lower back. Starts to massage the lower back simultaneously. Ooh. Beautiful, this deep work. So essential to keeping the body alive, to staying connected. Bringing the energy into the hips. Ooh. Maybe starting with a hula hoop kind of feeling. I like that sound. Good. Shaking it out. So remember, this movement is not necessarily about looking sexy or being good or whatever those weird ideas are of the conditioned mind. It's about waking up that space. Waking up the space. So whatever you have to do to wake up that space in your body, great. And now shaking out those legs. Pretending that they're chopsticks and trying to pick up little things on the floor. Using that energy between the legs. Waking up the muscles. Good. And then going back to the feet. Grounding through the feet. And then stepping. Little steps. Faster. Faster. Let's go fast for 10. 9. Faster. 8. Move around the mat. 7. Faster. 6. Faster. Come on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. As you exhale, slip on that suit. All the way down. Wrap the toes and remain in that beautiful fold. Ooh, big breaths here in the fold. Let's just take some time here, letting the blood drip down into our skull. Letting it all hang, bending the knees slightly if you need to. Ooh. Letting the belly even fall, letting the neck be loose, letting your cheeks hang. Breathing deep, letting the shoulders hang to the ears. Breathing here for 10 counts. Slightly bending the knees, rolling up through the pubic shoulder, vertebrae by vertebrae. Again, inhaling the arms up, reaching up as high as you can. Stretching, stretching, inhale, and then I want you to put that suit back on, but this time it's gonna happen in a different way. You don't have to force, just listen to the flow of your body. So already starting to embrace the change. So if we repeat ideas, they're always gonna come differently if you're just open to what is. If you're paying attention to the sensations and to the moment, Stop trying to create the moment and let the moment happen. Good. Experiencing the forward fold in a different way now. And again, it's not about producing the change or producing the movement. It's rather listening to what's happening, listening to the body, listening to what it needs, not what it wants, what it needs, and then allowing that change to occur naturally. And mind you, sometimes change is so small it might appear to be the same, but I promise you it is not. 10 counts here. So what is change? What would it look like? Well, you can see right now this forward fold is so different than my first one. My first one was my feet were together. I was just really enjoying the stretch in my hamstrings, and now I'm having the sensation of wanting to widen and rock. Now these are not changes that I am forcing. These are changes that are happening by just being present in the moment, listening to my breath, and allowing my body to move and shift as it wishes. This is the same way we're going to keep moving as we proceed. One more time, just so we can really understand this. Roll up. Again, rolling up might look very different this time. Roll up the way your body is asking you to. Don't rush. Stay in the moment, stay present, and just listen. Inhale. Again, might show up very different, will show up very different if you're present, and then you know the deal. You're gonna put that suit on and slip it all the way down. And then listen to the body and see where it wants to go next. Beautiful. As the body starts to shift into the next position that it sees fit for itself, allow it to get comfortable there, to experience it, to have fun exploring it. So my body has naturally wanted to go into an all fours position. Where are you? Where are you right now in this moment? What is your body asking you to do? What feels good? So continue where you are, and in 10 counts, we're gonna find each other in a child's pose and come back together. Big breaths. Waking up the body, waking it up from the inside out. Through sound, through movement, through breath. Good, 5 more counts to explore wherever this body wants to go before we find ourselves in a child's pose, keeping some sort of rhythm, awareness, energy, vibrancy. I love the word vibrant. Good, we're gonna count 3, 2, 1. Sitting back between the heels, spreading the knees out, arms forward or back, forehead on the floor. Let's find a widening through the back, through the ribs, through the waistline. Taking breaths, extracting sound, which equals energy and motion. Emotion, extracting emotion. And slowly rolling up onto our knees. Good, we're just gonna look forward, right where you are. Spot your eye on something, keep your focus there. Sit tall or stand tall, depending on where you are. Get out any little movements and adjustments and sounds that need to happen so you can focus into that visual space. And let the breath start to come into neutral. We'll take a moment here. Put our focus into the utmost awareness. So I'm looking at one space, very present, calming the breath and calming the body. We have entered the body. Observe this in silence for a moment. want you to notice if you're holding and see if you can just release and give into. May that be through breath and movement and energy. So do what you have to do. And then come back in and keep doing that until you can silence. And when I mean silence, I just mean calm. That one beautiful monotone, that white noise. Good, I want you to close your eyes, stick out your tongue. Cleanse that lion's breath. Give me 3 more. Let it sound what it wants to sound like. Let the change happen naturally. One more big lion's breath, which just I call opening, sticking up that tongue, opening wide through the throat, even opening up your face. Good, and then here, get comfy, open your eyes, look right back to your focal point, roll your shoulders back, sit up nice and tall, and we're going to begin with the movement play session. Now we're in our bodies, we're present. This goes like this. Start with one small motion. So for me here, I'm finding a little roll through my hip bones. My sit bones are also feeling the sensation of the floor. My breath is feeling this melancholy kind of inhale, exhale in a very neutral, relaxed way. I'm holding my knees and feeling how the pull against them is giving me some friction. So this is my first movement, and I want you to notice the details of your first movement. I can feel my pinky finger pushing against my knees. I can feel the back of my neck want to expand. I can feel my tongue tight in my mouth. I can feel my eyebrows kind of wanting to lift, so I'm going to soften. But whatever is happening, notice the details of this movement and continue to repeat it. Over and over again until it becomes a song of its own. Let's go. Just by doing this for a couple seconds, things have started to naturally change, naturally shift without your awareness, or maybe with, but without forcing, without making it a focal point or a thought, I will change this or I will move this, right? So for me, already my shoulders have kind of started to roll into the action. My neck has wanted to start rolling into action. I've actually started rotating in the other way unconsciously. And also the texture of the movement has gotten much more fluid and softer and gooier. So these things are naturally happening. My fingers are starting to sprinkle, and I'm just kind of saying them out loud, and I invite you to do the same as a new change occurs. So we're going to continue with this movement play. I'm going to black the screen so that you can really get into your own zone. And again, the play is this. I stay in one movement. I repeat it over and over again. I don't force the change to happen, but when I come into awareness of whatever that change is happening in the body, in the emotional body, in the physical body, in the spiritual body, whatever, however it shows up for you, I say it out loud. Nose. My scalp has loosened, so I make a verbal outward notice of it and put it into the universe. Keep going, and it will be interesting to see where you end up at the end of this little short play session, then we'll continue on. Shh. So curious to see where you've ended up. But wherever it is, keep that movement and awareness going in the physical and emotional body. And we're going to continue to play the same game, but expand or add on to it. Now, change for me is a lot about surprises, welcoming them in, and growth and expansion and opening up the space, particularly the creative space of the mind body. So we're just going to add a word to this play. We're going to keep the same game of I move and I notice when that little subtle change happens. But now the word we're going to add is expansion. Shh. So as I continue to play this game of natural change, the word that comes to focus before it was a visual, now it's a word, is expansion. So I bring in the word expansion into my mind body, into my awareness, into my movement. I continue to repeat whatever that pattern is that expansion is bringing into my mind body. And I let the change happen naturally with it. Expansion. Growth. Length. Yes, filling up the space. Taking up the space. I like that. Taking up the space. But again, staying aware of not forcing, letting it happen. Don't get ahead of it being change. Expansion through change to expansion. Inviting that in. Good, keep playing. How big and tall and expansive and open can the mind-body breath get? Ooh. By the end of this little movement play session, I want you to be massive, 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 massive. this expansion change takes us to presence. Shh. I think of it of the warrior. Ooh. So I take up space with change. I invite it in, I move with it, and now I'm very present with it. Not only present in body, present in energy, but extremely present to the changes happening. And so in this presence, in this very, very aware space, I'm gonna start to speed up my movement. This is gonna become a little bit more challenging because if the movement is faster, I have to keep up with it. That means that I can't decide before it happens. Wherever it throws me, and I go. So I'm not deciding where my body goes. I'm letting my body decide and I'm following. Good, speeding it up. Keep going, keep going. Get out of the way and let your body move you. Go.
Dope on the microphone, I never stutter when I'm live at the show. I'm flowing like no other MC, battle of brains. You can't hang with the #1 player that what changed the game. I'm an Asiatic, disciple maverick. So check the fabric, I rhyme out of habit. I'm rabid, I'm sick on the mic and spit. I sit back with a pen and a pad and write hits. What? You don't know, you can't test me. Whack MCs like you depress me. Your skills are weak, your beats are whack. Your rhymes are corny, they bore me, that's a fact. Sit down, rip the crown off your head. By the time I'm done, you're gonna wish you're dead. Cause I'm unique, I rock the streets, do not speak. I'm the mastermind, peep the lyrical physique. I'm the mastermind, peep the lyrical physique. I'm the mastermind, peep the lyrical physique. Round 2, it's just me and you, there's no crew. There's nowhere to run out the vocal booth. You gotta come correct on the drums and the deck. When the DJ spins, then I'm going all in. I'm the ill technician, respect the mission. You don't even know how to flow, go listen. Headphones on when the speaker's leaking. 808 shake like a bass head tweaking. Grab the knife from the glove compartment. I got a few slugs if thugs wanna start this. Keep the beef on the beats, let's do it. I'm flowing like water from a faucet. Fluid, I'm cool with the whole party rock, don't stop. I live my life for lyrics and hip hop. When I flex my intellect, you know I never sleep. I'm the mastermind, peep the lyrical physique. 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 I'm the mastermind, peep the lyrical physique.
Walking around the space. Just walking, a simple walk, simple walk, simple walk. We walk, we walk, we walk. Now your body is already flowing with change. The mind has released into it. And so notice how this walk is so different than our initial walk at the beginning of our practice. Ooh, it might feel looser. Your mind might feel like it's just gone, actually, like released into the world. The body is present, but maybe not even fully here. It's beyond the body. It's just moving without the you, the ego. That's where we want to be. Good. And letting this walk evolve until it no longer needs to walk. And you'll know when that is. Noticing the change in breath. Letting the breath guide you into a new space. Getting out any extra baggage maybe that's been holding you down. Noticing the change of flow and energy and speed. If you've slowed down like me, then embrace the slowness. You've earned it. Relax into it. And then slowly start to melt. The idea of melting, coming down, or getting softer. Allow the breath to guide you into that. And maybe the body follows the breath in this case. Oh, and again, it's gonna happen when it's gonna happen, so I'll leave you to it. Melting, breath guiding, until you find a neutral, comfortable space to exist in. Put it on slow-mo. All of it. The movement, the breath, even the energy of change. If you can just put it on slow-mo. From this point on, we're going to keep the change on slow-mo. until it's so in fact slow that we can barely see the change happening, though it always is. That's our new play. Change on ultra super slow-mo until it's no longer visible. Only the self can feel the change happening. And wherever it is that you've landed, we take a moment to so gently and softly embrace this change and how we arrived here. Progress is impossible without change. Creativity thrives in change. And adaptability holds the hand of change. Notice how beautifully your body-mind adapted during this practice. How effortlessly change moves without force. How beautiful and comforting it is to just experience the process and allowing change to be the gift rather than a burden. Let's keep moving, beautiful warriors. Take this time to marinate in change. Bye.